Hello, everybody, and welcome. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this morning's live stream for Reevio. We're going to be covering a number of things today, but first things first, I want to thank you for tuning in and let you know that we're going to be answering questions throughout the stream. So if you have any questions, suggestions, or requests for things to cover, just comment them below or to the right. I'm not exactly sure where it pops up, but I'll keep my eye on those, and between the other Reevio admin who are here and myself, we'll get your questions answered. So first things first, excuse me, first things first, I want to just go through a walkthrough of all of the things that you can preview in a video. So, when you're talking about video production, you really have three stages. You have the pre-production, you have the actual production, and the post-production. And so we're going to start a little bit with the pre-production phase here. And in that, you really want to talk about knowing what you're going to be using ahead of time, and as you're viewing templates, how you can understand what the template is going to be before you open it or start using it and rendering it, so that it really meets your expectations. Hi, everybody. I see you guys tuning in, and looking forward to talking with you more. All right. So first things first, we're going to be going through these templates here. And if you want to view anything, you can go right ahead and customize it. If that's what you want to use, then great. But what I really encourage you to do is to open the previews. And I want to show you two specific things to take note of. So there are two types of Reevio templates. We have modular templates. They are much more flexible, and then preset or fixed. You might also see it as static. That is the second type. So if we're talking about modular items, you can see some of them are written in the title line here. Other ones will be written in here. So flexible. That means it's modular. You can see that here. And so to expect that this is a type of scene where, a type of template where you can grab scenes, put them in whatever order you want, and really make it very, very customizable. The other option is preset. It's also known as fixed or static. And you can see something like that here. And basically what this means is that the template that you see here, we'll preview this quickly. is all fixed in place, and it's because we have all these transitions here for you to make it look much more elegant and user, or rather client friendly. So what you want to take note of is that when it's static, you'll have preset amount of scenes you can use. You'll have a set amount of information that you can put in, and really all you're updating is the information that goes in. You're not updating the scenes, you're not reorganizing the structure. It can be really straightforward for somebody who's looking just to get started with Reevio for the first time, or maybe somebody who just needs to whip something together quickly. So definitely check out the differences there. Awesome. Cool. So I'm going to do a little walkthrough of some of these here. So one thing that I also want to make note of is during the last live stream, there was a question about video limits. So we're going to just go through this here, and you see that we've talked about the kind of information on what type of template it is, but right below it, right here, you can see duration. The unit for this is seconds, and there's an update coming out sometime either today or tomorrow that will just update it to say seconds. But this means that the limit on this video is 35 seconds, and this is obviously rigid. It's going to be 35 seconds because it's static. But for something that's modular, that's the maximum length it can be. For example, I know that on, we'll go back over here, on Fusion, the duration limit here, ooh, that's carbon color. On Fusion, the duration limit here is 240. That means that's 240 seconds, also known as 4 minutes. So that's the maximum that you can do there. Just keep note of those limits there before you're opening a video template to use. So we're going to take some time now to go through the editor, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a modular template. Let's go with, I want to find one nice for y'all. You know, I might go with this one. Let's go with simple text. We're just going to do a simple walkthrough of all of the things here. Let's go editor, walkthrough. All right. So first things first, I want to make note of a few things on this page for you. So here we obviously have the logo. This is actually also a home button. At any point you want to exit the editor and go back to the main page, you can do that. The template is regularly saving, and so this would be another option if you decided, you know, I'm ready to just leave for a hot second and then come back. Everything will be saved, and you can access it through the My Videos portion of the page as well. But this is a quick way to get back to the home page. We have the left sidebar or side panel here. And this is going to be all of the areas in which you can edit the video or preview scenes or add media, and we'll show you this in just a second. The top here, this is the current total length based off of the scenes that are being put in. And you'll also see a bar here come up soon that says all changes saved. That's the regularly updating portion of the video. This is the submit video for rendering. You'll not be able to submit it unless all of the portions down below and the scenes are all checked off and ready to go. You'll get an error message. So if you ever get an error message, just double check to make sure you've filled out all of the fields applicable. To add a scene, you're going to go to this bar down below. And as you can see it here, we already have one default scene that is put in. This is a fade up. But you know, you have so many here to choose from. And all you have to do is click it, and you can choose as many scenes as you want to put in. Obviously, just keep in mind the time limit there. If at any point you forget what the time limit is, because I know I'm guilty of it, the max duration is going to be visible right here underneath the video preview. So we're going to watch the video preview really quickly. Awesome. So one of the things that I want to make you aware of is that because this is a modular preview, the video preview you see is not the for any of the templates, whether they're longer or shorter, that is not the final video that you'll be editing. It can be if you happen to choose the same scenes, but it won't inherently be the same one. One thing I want to show you is that if you go to scene preview, you can preview what the scene is going to look like. And I really, really encourage you to preview your scenes as you're editing them, because it just, when you understand how information is moving along the page, it makes it so much easier to make things that look really cohesive. So for example, we're going to watch this is the default one here. And it just kind of comes up and fades up, as you can see here. So we're going to add a scene by clicking this below. There's information here for adding, your own video if you already have one rendered. That's a way to do it. This could be a great title card if you want to put that first and add this on second. Simply, this means that you can upload into this space anything that you've already rendered, any video that you've already completed. It's really for your use. To piece together things that you've already created. And really, that's one of the special things about Reevio, is that it makes that integration very, very easy. So let's see. I want to take a look at some of these titles here. We have a fade up with some titles. I'm going to go right into the middle. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to drop in, let's go with this scene here. There's so many options. It's really fantastic. We're just going to pick those two. And you know what? I lied. I'm going to go back and choose the Your Video section as well. So because this is modular, you have the ability to put in just scenes. You can pick scenes that you like. You don't need to pick them in order yet, because when you're here, you can rearrange them just simply by dragging and dropping them. So if you know that this is a fade up, and maybe you don't want this fade up, I can either decide that, I want to clone this scene, and that means that you'll get a repeat of this scene template. This can be great if you know that you're going to be using the same maybe scale up information. Here sometimes maybe you have a quote that's slightly too long. What you can do is you can clone this scene and duplicate it and then add more information. And that way the styling is matching, which is great. But otherwise, if you just decide you don't want it, you can delete it, and that's what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to drop in this quote one at the beginning, and we know text 2 is going to be the bottom, text 1 is going to be this top part here. So I'm going to say, I'm trying to think, we could pick some random quote, maybe there's that classic Winnie the Pooh quote, I think is what it is, and it's how great it is it that we have something that's so difficult to say goodbye to. I'm paraphrasing horribly, but you can pick something random, maybe if I see somebody from Hawaii, let's go in. So I just wrote, "The beach is my heart, the beach is my soul, and when I'm in Hawaii, I'll never be cold." A poet, I am not, but we'll just drop that in here. And, I really want this text here to be kind of a pale pink, like a lilac color. As you can see, it has automatically taken on the color that I want it to take on. And we'll go over this one just a little bit too. So obviously you have the media here that is text. We'll drop this in, and let's say Nicole, that's my name. So we'll just drop that in. There we go. So here you can see the text that we've typed in here. If you decide you do not want to use a text field, you'll want to hit the off section. I wouldn't encourage it, but just that's what this on-off switch is for. And then we have the paint bucket here. This is how you change the color. I mentioned this in the previous video, but if you have specific branding that your client wants to use or that your company uses, they might have a brand package with color codes. And those are called hex codes or hexadecimals. They are an alphanumeric 6-digit code. As you can see here, white is 6 Fs. Black is 6 zeros. Just made it black. If it disappears like that, double check the color. But if they have a specific code that you want to make sure it matches their branding exactly, I'd really encourage you just to type it in instead of trying to guesstimate. The other benefit of this is that you can copy this and then use it again in the future. So, for example, maybe I want this to be white, but I want this one to be a darker color. Let's go with a navy blue. Ooh. All right, we've got a navy blue, and I'm going to copy this hex code here. And I've just hit Control-C or Command-C, depending on if you're using a Mac or a PC. Keep in mind, it looks like it's disappeared, but it is a very dark navy, and it is right on top of the black. So it is there. Just, I don't know how well you can see that. And then we see this object right in here. That's this light blue. You can edit that color using the change color of object paint droplet that is right beside everything. And you can see it's beside the text. I want that to match the text color that I'm using above. So instead of trying to guess the color, I'm going to just Command or Control V, the navy, and as I let go of the key there, you can see that it's already found the same color. So I'm going to submit that. So now my text color on top and the object's color are the same. And I think that if you are establishing branding or somebody's like, I really like that color, let's use that more frequently, just take a note of the hex code. It makes life so much easier, and it's way faster than trying to guess along the way. Just to address one of your questions, I see that, Gregory, you have a question about default size for Fusion. Can you clarify, do you mean what is the default length or the default frame size or aspect ratio? What exactly do you mean? Let us know and we can help answer your question a little bit better. Hi, everybody. Welcome from all over the world. This is really cool to be able to talk to all of you. Alrighty. Cool. So now that we have that going, sorry for the delay a little bit there. So now that we have that going, the next thing you'll want to do is to add a background. And you have multiple options here. So you can add a solid color, and I'll do that just to show you what that looks like. Let's just go with a, gray. Sure. Drop that in. And this opens up something that you might encounter with some images or videos. So this is a crop area and a crop sensor. So as you can see, the color itself is technically a square, and you can see that by the full length of the image here. But a video isn't inherently going to be a square. And so what you want to do is to take this. Now, obviously, this is a solid color, so you can drop it anywhere and it's not going to be a problem. But if you have an image or a photo, you might want to crop it to make sure that it fits. And we'll show you that when we do an image coming up in just a second. You can also drag out this bar here to make it longer. I'm just going to make it back to the default, which is 5 seconds, and save that. And as you can see, it takes it on in the back. Awesome. So now that we have done that, you can see that it has a purple check mark. Now, theoretically, that means this scene is ready to go, but you know what? I don't want this nice text just on a light gray background. I'm talking about the beach, so I want a beach photo. So I'm going to select this image here. Ooh, excuse me. And we have a lot of options. I can add files. So, maybe I'm going to, pull up a photo of the beach. Let's go. Just going to download one, or rather upload one here. All right, so I can add a file here, and there are two ways to do this. I can either add it in the the photo and media bay, which is where I am right now, or I can go into the left-hand side here. So we've talked about this top section being the area that you can preview videos and preview scenes. The one directly below it covers your main media. So I have here a bunch of photos. I also have a bunch of kind of random videos that I've uploaded here. And I want to upload a photo. So let's go here. I'm gonna drag it in. Pardon the framing, I have to keep it a little small for the screen capture, but we'll just drag in a file. So I have a beach JPEG. Now, I know this is a JPEG, and we talk about this a lot. This is a solid image that I've pulled off the internet. I really encourage everybody to use PNG files. Again, this is a random image, and you can use JPEG, but just know you will get no transparency if you use JPEG files. And we'll cover this a little bit later as we talk about logos. So I'm going to upload this file here. Great. Close out. And now I have my image here. So this has now been saved into my media. And this media area is going to be here every time you open the editor. So if you have stuff that you regularly use, definitely use this. And you can delete things along the way as well. Like I'll delete this logo right here. Probably shouldn't be having it up there right now anyway. So I'm going to select an image instead of a color, and you can change these out as much as you want. You can see, obviously, we have the photo bay here. These have all been licensed by Reevio for your use or for commercial use. And we're just going to pick the image we want. I want this one, and I'm going to hit the plus sign. So this is a random image that I picked off the internet, and as you can see, it's not as high resolution. So you really want to make sure that you're picking images that are high resolution. The ones that you have at home would tend to be high resolution, but it's really important to pull some of those. I'm going to download this one more time and make sure that we can drop it in a higher quality. So I'm going to, again, delete this one, and I'm going to hit the plus sign, show you this one again. I'm going to just drag the file and drop it in there and upload the file. I think this one is better. All right, select image, my images. There we go, that's a lot better. All right, so this image was a widescreen image. You can see again by the image kind of overflowing here, but this is the range for the actual video. So instead of on a color where it's a solid color, you can't really mess up where you place the crop. This is an area where you'll want to move it depending on what all you want to show. So if I want more beach, I'm going to just drag and slide this to the right. If I want more water, I'll slide it to the right. If I want more beach, I'll slide it to the left. In this case, I want to balance it out. One thing I want to take note of is that this crop has the thirds mapped out. Really just solid placement for this. So, as we're working on things, just keep in mind how things are laid out. You really want to make sure you are balancing information. And there are lots of tutorials online about, the theories behind design and best practices. So I definitely encourage checking them out and how these, grids are actually really, really helpful for your use. And if that's something you're interested in, I can definitely cover that in a future live stream as well. So I've now dragged and dropped this. And I really like the placement. It just sits slightly to the left of the original placement, and I'm going to save it. Hi, Michael. I am currently working on the simple text template. You can see that right over here, we've pulled up the, simple promo template. And the focus on this one is modular templates. Again, these are the templates that you can mix and match scenes and rearrange them however you want. Awesome. Cool. Yeah, if you have any further questions, let us know. I'll keep checking into this too. Awesome. So we now have the area for a video. And I can drop in any video clip here that I would like. Now, as you'll notice, there's no text information because the whole purpose of this one is to just drop in just footage. Now, at this point, I can use some videos that I've already made. If I have maybe, maybe I went to the beach and I made a video on the great experience that I had there, and I really want to showcase that maybe for, maybe I work for a tourist company and we have people submit videos. That would be a great way to use testimonials to be able to showcase some of the services that we're offering. So I'm going to just select a video here. This top right corner opens the bay again, and I'm going to type in the beach. Here we go. We've got piggyback on the beach here. Just one thing I want to note is any bugs that you see are with my computer are happening because of the Spectre bug issues. Don't worry, they're getting sorted out. Joel and the team are doing a great job at making sure that that's getting all sorted for you all. So don't be alarmed. I'm very aware that that's what my computer is dealing with. So we're going to be adding this one in here. We've got this nice slow motion video. And one thing I want to kind of draw your attention to is the cropper right here. So you see this purple area here, that just shows where we are in the timeline. These pink bars indicate the start and end points of the video. So this video itself is 21 seconds long, but this is only pulling 5 seconds of that whole time. You can extend that to be even longer, which is exactly what I'm going to do. So let's say I want this to be 10 seconds. I'm just dragging it until I see it roughly hit 10 seconds. There we go. So we have this nice 10-second one, but you know what? I don't know if I feel like picking this first portion, but I don't want to have to kind of inchworm everything around. That can be a little bit of a pain. So what you can do is you can grab the middle and just click it and drag it and drop it somewhere else. And that'll start the beginning here. The other thing to keep in mind is if you move the beginning frame, and this is something that I like to do, is I like to set the end frame first, so the closing frame, because it's a little harder to note. If you set that first, you can adjust the beginning frame, and it will show you a preview of that point in the timeline. It kind of acts like the purple thing at the same time, as you can scrub slowly to see the exact moment that you want to start. So I'm going to, let's see, I like this hair turn, so I'm going to start back here. You notice how I was able to watch that as I'm doing it, whereas if I'm moving the end one, it's not as easy. That's not true. Apparently it's just as easy. That's just me. Either way, I find it easier to move the end one first and the beginning one second, especially if I'm moving the whole frame. So I'm going to hit continue on this here. And we have another check mark going. Awesome. So into our last frame, again, I brought in this scene right when we started. I don't really remember what it looks like, so I'm going to go back into this top point here and select the scene preview. And let's just say, let's call this Maui. And let's say this is my getaway. So that will preview in here. And you know, I want to select another video. Let's go with the beach again. And I really want to just pick, let's go with this one. I'll make it longer a little bit there. And I can see the range time right in this corner here. Great. So now my video has all three check marks here. The total video length is 25 seconds. I can see that everything's been saved. At this point, I can render, but I want to show you a little bit more. So we have, again, the My Media section that we've covered here. This is stuff that I have dropped in of my own work. One thing I want to show you in just a second, but I'll tell you about it right now, is that in the My Video section, if you have a video you've already rendered, take an introduction, for example, you can hit the heart icon in the corner of the video, and that will save it to your media library. And when we get out of this, I'll show you how to do that. The next thing that you can do here is you have songs. So we have default music that you can find. We can change the audio and, you know, scrub through things here. But you can also upload your own music. Now, the library that Reevio provides is already licensed for commercial use, so you don't need to put credits in it. However, if you're pulling music off the internet, you should definitely check the licensing kind of rules per song. Just because something says it's royalty free doesn't mean it's actually free. There are also different limitations based off of countries that you're in, and really, you know, if you drop in something like Uptown Funk, I mean, you can pretty much guarantee that places like YouTube are going to take it down. So just be aware of that. There are lots of pieces of music that are put out by artists for free use. Some use needs to be credited, and that might be an area that you want to just maybe put up a fade in with the text information and just keep it up for a split second. Just be aware of what those different rules are and look into them before you use them. The YouTube media library has a great, the YouTube audio library has a great explanation on the different types of royalty-free music, or, you know, what is it, Creative Commons or public domain, and that explains it really well, but also it explains what they will or will not accept and what they will or will not do depending on what you upload. So if you're planning on uploading videos to YouTube, definitely keep that in mind. The last thing you want is for a client's video to get taken down. But anyway, you can add your own files here. So I'm going to add one in. And let's just, I know that I keep all my music as MP3 files, and you should upload MP3 files. I can upload this one here. We'll play that in a second, but I know that this is really peaceful. I like it a lot, so I can open it. And that's uploading here. Awesome. So that's now uploaded. You can see that in the corner up top. And if I decide, you know what, I actually really don't like it, or I've uploaded this before, and I know that, you know, there's another song that I already have uploaded that I really like, I can go back to change audio, and I can view it in here as well. I know they sort in here, so I can see it right down below. We have this uploaded in here, and earlier I was looking through it, and I came across songs that I'd uploaded with previous videos as well. So you can search through all of these things, and that's really helpful for users to know. So we'll go back, we'll drop that in. I want to add a fade out. Maybe I want this to be just a little softer, and we can preview that now. These videos as well, so you can You know what, it's not loud enough for me, so I'll just bring it up. And I mean, we won't ever get to 59 seconds in this video anyway, but that's fine. So that has all been added. I now want to take a look at this information down here. Do I want to add a watermark? It depends on your use. If you want to add one, go right ahead and definitely use it. This is a great tool for people who want to make sure that they can claim their information. I would also encourage, if you are putting up a reel, put a watermark on it. It's really important if you're showcasing a bunch of different things that you've done for a client, and you want to have a watermark on it so that people aren't taking pieces of it. But for my use, I'm not going to add a watermark. And at this point, you know, I'm largely ready to submit my video. One thing I want to show you quickly, I'm going to add a scene so you can see what this oops error looks like. So I've added a scene. It is the only scene that does not have a purple check mark. If I try to submit this video for rendering, it's not going to let me. If you receive this error, just go back, like check all your scenes. I know it can get a little hard to see when you have so many, but you know, just take a look at it and keep an eye on if all of them have a check mark. If they do, then submit a ticket for our tech team. They'll definitely check it out, make sure everything is working for you. But if not, then go through that scene and make sure each field is filled out. One thing that I can also do, and I'll show you how to do it before I forget, is I can disable a text box. So I see, you know, the first point is up here. I'll preview this so you can see it. It just fades up. But you know what? I don't want these smaller text here. What I can do is open the text box and I can disable it by hitting the on-off button. This now means that it's empty and it'll just be happy that way. There doesn't need to be text in there. So at this point, the only information that will show up will be the second one here. And actually, just for use, I mean, I know that we are, you know, are rendering this out, but just so that you can see it after it's rendered, I'll just type in here, disabled box above. And that way you know that it's missing, I suppose. I'll just drop in a solid color. I really like this hot pink. I saw it earlier. I'll just save that. Let's make it a little longer. All right. And this is white. Perfect. I have all the check marks on all of my boxes, and now I can submit my video for rendering. So at this point, you know, I would encourage you, like, not for this video, but when you're rendering, take a break. You know, take a breather, get a second to walk around. It's a natural break time. But I want to show you something that I talked about a little bit earlier, is saving a video to the media. Excuse me. Pardon me. Saving a video into your media that has already been rendered in Reevio. So I'm going to open my media out. So we see the video rendering, and again, I mentioned before that I'm dealing with the Spectre bugs. That's the only reason why I can't see these here. It's not a big deal at all. But if I really want to have a video be input in that I've already rendered, for example, introductions are a great thing that people use if they want to regularly use the same video. All you want to do is hit this heart icon here. And actually, I have a Fusion intro. You just hit this heart icon here. This adds it to your favorites. I'm going to save the video to my library. Awesome. So now, if I go to my media library, I'll just open this draft that I have here. Now, when I go in to my media and browse videos, I'll be able to see the video in here as well. This is it down below. I have two other videos here that are having some problems being viewed because of the bugs, but we have everything in here. They were uploaded directly into the library. So, and there's no upload time with that. It's real quick. I'm going to take a second here to read over some of your questions. Yeah, Sam, thanks for addressing that. So, Calvin, all you have to do is do exactly what Sam said. I'll show you how to do it right now, actually. If you want to edit a video that has already been rendered, I'll go to my videos here. I have rendered out this video here. I know you can't quite see the preview, all you do is you hit this duplicate video button here. That is going to open a copy of the same video as before. And it'll open the editor with all of the same scenes in there too. And we'll call that a copy. Ooh, copoo, I guess. And as you can see, the scenes are still in here from before, all set, ready to go, and I can adjust it however I want. One of the great things about this is if you have, maybe you make a bunch of edits for a client and they come back and they're like, I actually really like the beginning of this previous video. The last thing you want to have to do is to back up or try to remember what exactly you sent them or find those scenes. So it duplicates the video so you have a backup. Kind of like if you're working with an actual, like if you're downloading an editor, or, you know, a lot of professionals use things like Premiere, you know, they already back up information if you have to go to a previous version. It's kind of like Google Docs or Google Drive, how, you know, it backs up information as you go so you can revert back to a previous version. This is Reevio's version of effectively doing the same thing. So that way you have previous versions that you can reference as you're going through the whole thing. I hope that answers your question. I noticed that Sam did a great job of doing this. Yeah, and Joel already got this, but Douglandia, you can definitely reorder scenes. One way that you can do that is to go into the video here. I'll just open another one. And, oops, sorry, that had opened. Oops, sorry about that. For some reason, I was using the wrong one. So we have that going there. If you want to reorder scenes, I'll show you how to do that right now. We have the template here, click customize. And so when you add in scenes, I'll just add in 1, 2, and 3. 1 was already in there, so I'm just adding title 2 and title 3. You can see them down below here. If I really want to have one of these be in a different order, all I have to do is click it, drag it, and drop it, and it'll automatically reorder the timeline. So quick and easy way to go about doing that. You can do that as many times as you want. And then if you decide maybe after you render a video that you want something from the middle to be towards the beginning, all you have to do is duplicate the video again, and you can reorder the scenes that have already been rendered at that point too. I'm going to take a pause here just to read over some of the comments and questions you guys have. Yeah, Dean, that's a great suggestion. So you can definitely, you know, put in your own version. As you can see here, I use a logo that I made, you know, for a campaign that I was on in school, just because it's easy to use. But, you know, you can definitely use placeholders, and that would be a great way if you're trying to showcase something for your client that you can do that. My also personal favorite, as you'll notice in some of these videos, is I make up generic copy versions of things. So for example, in some of my videos, I represent a generic toothpaste company, or oranges as a fruit, not any company, but just oranges. So if you're maybe working for something like a dentist's office, you can, you know, tailor something that's a little generic, that's not tailored to them, but it can at least help them visualize how it can apply to them. And I'm not gonna lie, I get a little kick out of, you know, making kind of in-between versions of things. Let's see, yeah, Jose, so I'm actually going to cover that in a little bit when we go over Fusion, but what you want to basically do if you're looking at transitions between slides, if you like certain slides, I'd really encourage you to render out individual scenes. Joseph, Fusion is a template that you can use that is solely transitions. It's no individual scenes. And so what you can do with this is drop in scenes that you've already rendered, such as introductions, or you can drop in, if you know you want to have transitions later, you just render out all the individual scenes, hit the favorite icon, add it to your media, and then when you drop them into Fusion, you can add these smooth transitions. And actually, that's where I'm going to be heading in just a few minutes, so stay tuned so that we can cover Fusion together, and I can answer your questions with that as well. Hope everyone is doing all right in there. If you feel like there's anything that I'm not covering or that you're a little confused about, definitely let us know because we are here to help you out. We are also taking, requests or suggestions for things to cover in here. So let us know what you are interested in and we'll cover it together. Awesome. So we are going through all of this information here. We talked about reordering scenes. So far, we've talked about what the sidebar on the left can do, what the timeline down below can do. And as you get more scenes, and I'll show you, as you add more scenes in here, you'll start to get a, oh, I didn't add enough, so I'll clone some. You'll get a bar down below, and you can just kind of slide in between all of them. We've covered how to get the purple check marks in order to render the video, how to delete scenes. I showed you how to clone a scene before, and how to submit a video for render, and also what the oops error button comes up for. We've covered uploading media, uploading photos, uploading videos, as well as uploading your own music or a watermark as well. So, So now that we're going through some of that information, the next thing that I want to show you is the kind of some of the troubles that people are having with logos. So I want to take you to Photoshop really quickly. And so bear with me as I just change the scene here on the live stream. All right, it's just updating right now so you can see what I'm working on here. Awesome. So hopefully you all can see that I have Photoshop up right now. And the reason why I want to cover this is because we've had some problems with people not understanding how logos work. And not necessarily that, but how the file formats work. And so as we get into things like live mockups, that can be particularly troubling for people who are expecting a transparent background and not getting one. So I want to take you through this. So this is the logo that I have here. We have a white L and P with a blue plus sign in the middle. We have a purple background here with a white stroke or a white outline or border on the circle, and then we have this checkered background. This checkered background is actually transparent. So one of the things that I want to kind of talk to you about is, when you're dealing with different logos, how you can adjust things so that you get the transparency you want. So right now, this image in particular is a circle. And I know that seems a little obvious, but if I exported this as a JPEG, this entire back area would fill in with a white background. And that can be particularly frustrating if you're trying to add a logo to a shirt, and now all of a sudden you're just getting this white square. That's not great to deal with. I personally have also made mistakes where I'm expecting certain types of transparency to happen and it doesn't. And I'll show you some of my flubs in just a second. So we have this circle, but if I'm doing a live mockup where I just want this white outline, the last thing that I want to be dealing with is going to be, the last thing that I want to deal with is the, issues with, not getting the pieces that I'm wanting. So the screen is frozen. Sorry, I'm understanding that my screen is frozen, so I'm going to adjust that really quickly. I'm going to go to the default page. I will be back in just 1 second. All right, it's not letting me do that, so you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to show you my full screen. So give me 30 seconds and I will get that up again for you. Sorry for the inconvenience with all of that. And we can move forward in just 1 second. All right. All right. Sorry, folks. I'm understanding that at some point I'm muting. What I'm going to do here is we'll have a tutorial coming out that's going to cover some of that. Basically, what I wanted to show you is just the different transparencies. And so what I'll do that is I will go into Reevio and pull up the specific items that I was using before. All right, so now that that is being taken care of, I'm going to go back into Reevio and go to my videos. So let's go earlier. I know I have some old ones in here. Here we go. Okay, so we'll address some of the transparency here. So you can see this kind of striped background going on here. That's the equivalent to the transparency of an image. If I had rendered this out as a JPEG, and sorry, let me be clear, if I had rendered out the photo as a JPEG, I would get this just square going on here. One thing I want you to take note of is with this logo, I've removed the coloring from inside the L and the P. And so you can see this one is a carbon color template. So you can see the colors from the purple, the white, and the blue. But on this one, which isn't, it's really important to have the pieces removed that I want to have removed. This is an instance of where I didn't take out any pieces of the logo and didn't leave any transparency. And what resulted was just kind of this shiny circle. And I can't tell you, when I first did it, I laughed at just kind of this stupid mistake that I made. And it's just kind of like a little bit funny, but it really showcased to me the importance of making sure that my transparency is exactly what I wanted it to be. So if you're, again, double check the types of templates you're using. This is the same problem you might have with live mockups in addition to logos. I can show you that, for example, right here, this is the exact same logo going on as the one that is missing the pieces here. So just double check. It's really important that that is kind of taken care of there. One thing that we also want to mention is when you are exporting or you are downloading images, make sure they're being uploaded in or downloaded in the highest resolution you possibly can. And again, export as a PNG. I can't emphasize that enough, but make sure it's being exported as high as resolution as you can. The reason is Reevio automatically is going to kind of crop and resize or compress the images, and you don't want to be dealing with images that are too low resolution. You're just going to end up dealing with fuzzy looking photos and videos, and that's really not what you're wanting. Excuse me. So again, double check the transparency. I would say that's number one thing in the kind of pre-production side of things that we talked about. And then also make sure you're looking at the sizing you're using. I would really say, you know, export it in full HD if possible. If that is, you know, 1920 pixels by 1080 pixels or 1080 pixels by 1080 pixels, you want to make sure you have that quality there. And, you know, oftentimes with videos, you know, that can be what sets people apart. If you have really good quality videos versus somebody who, you know, is dealing with fuzzy images, I mean, that's not something that's ideal. Yeah, Steve, I'm just checking in on some of the comments here. That's a great point, Steve. There are lots of quick tutorials for logos on YouTube. And honestly, like that's where I use a lot of my stuff as well. If you have access to things like lynda.com, those are also really great. But we also will be doing some, you know, we have some information with tutorials there. We'll be covering some of those questions as well. So if you have specific questions, please ask. That would be greatly helpful. Yeah, and sorry about the sound there. We'll get those ironed out before our stream tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, it's really easy to get these logos going. Excuse me. It's really easy to get some of these logos set up. I would really check out YouTube. It's a fantastic free resource. And if you're interested in trying to test out some of those things yourself, those are easy ways to do that as well. Alrighty. So we've covered some of those. One of the things I want to make sure we go over, because a lot of you have asked about it, is Fusion. So when it comes to Fusion, this is a template that is used for transitions. So I'm going to show you exactly where it is. I'm going to just go back to my homepage and what it looks like. All right, this is the Fusion template right here. It's inside Reevio. I personally render it quite regularly. I would encourage you to as well. It has a maximum limit of 4 minutes, or as you can see here, as we talked about, 240 seconds. And there are 32 flexible scenes. But the thing to make note of is that the scenes aren't like the other scenes that we've been looking at. When you look at other templates, you see scenes where you can input text information, you can input other information. These scenes are transitions only. So, you know, for a lot of those people who are asking, how do I get better transitions on my videos? This is how you do it. So again, before you go into this, you'll want to make sure that you have information already rendered, whether it's footage that you're wanting to put in here, or, you know, it's, you know, maybe it's another video that you've already rendered, and I'll show you a directly applicable way of doing that in just a second. So we're going to customize this one here. And just like with any craft, any art that you're doing, this takes practice. We're going to show you a basic formula for getting started on this. But, you know, once you get going with that, the more you practice, the more you play around, you're just going to end up with better videos at the end of the day. So get in here, just get your hands dirty a little bit, and you'll get some great things from it. So the kind of easy formula we want to start you off with, the easy formula that we want to start you off with is a 2-scene formula, where the first scene is the video that you have, and the second scene is the logo. And obviously you can swap this if you want. You can do the logo first, you can do the scene after. But, you know, definitely check out, you know, what's going on with that as well. So we've got, you know, this setup going here. Sorry, I'm checking out some of the comments here as well as I'm going. So we have the setup here, and I'm going to figure out what transitions I want first. So again, part of the pre-production is knowing what content you're going to be dropping in. So we have scenes here that are specifically transitions. So I'm going to go with, let's see, I want just a fade out. I'm going to expand this a little bit so I can read them. You can see just the length of them as we're going through it. I want this one, I think this is a 2-second fade out. Yeah, I want just a fade out. I'm going to add this back in here. And I want a fade in. This is a 1/2 second fade in. I can see that right in here. I'm going to add the scene as well. So I have these 2 scenes that I'm going to drop in. I'm going to remove this first scene. That's the default scene. All right. So this first scene is adding the transition to whatever image or video I put in here. So I'm going to select a video. I'm going to select one of my videos. I'm going to select this cooking video here. We're going to add it. One thing to keep in mind is you have to, if you want to use the full video, you have to expand the whole length here.
Here we really
so I'm going to continue and add that in. So this video is in the background here. And then this is a fade in. Now, I'm using a fade in specifically because the video that I want to, use has a fade out already. So this is the video that I'm going to use. I'll preview it here for you. Oops, there we go. You know what, those darn bugs. All right, no worries. So this is the video that I intend to use. It has a fade out already. And so I'm not going to add one of the fade in, fade out templates. It's a little redundant to have a fade out on top of a fade out. So in order to make this smooth transition, I'm just going to use a fade in. So we have the scene open here. We're going to select a video. I'm going to select this video here. You know, we're dealing with some of the bugs here, so please bear with me, but I'll show you what this looks like. I already have it pre-rendered out. So we had selected the second video. I trimmed it down just slightly. The first video that we put in full. And a direct application of this, and I think somebody that we were talking to the other day is going to use it this way, is adding an intro slide to a YouTube video. If you're recording a YouTube video or a screen cap or something like this, this is a really easy way to add the full video that you've been working with, and then to add an introduction on the beginning or add a tag on the end. You know, really easy things to do there. So we're going to go back since, you know, I'm dealing with some bugs right now, and I'll show you what the rendered video looks like. I'm going to open this up with a bunch of drafts here. I'm going to preview this video. So this was a video that I made for a client who runs a bakery. Oops, excuse me, sorry. So we're just gonna watch through to the end. I've uploaded this video already into, again, remember, we dropped in the scene. This has a simple fade out. So this is a 1-minute video. And Nicholas, I'm seeing your comment here. Thank you for the advice. Unfortunately, I do not have a second computer, but I'm working on getting a second monitor to use instead of switching back and forth on the same one. But thanks for the advice. I really appreciate it. All right. So in a few seconds now, we're going to see a fade out. Now the video that I made already had a tag. So we see that fade out and then fade in to the logo and then fade out. So again, I want to go over what we did there. We had 2 scenes. The first scene covers the full first video that I uploaded. That then was the fade out scene. So it added a 2-second fade out on the end. The second video, well, the second scene was the logo video that I previously rendered and had put in from my media in Reevio, and had a simple fade out. It had a 5-second fade in. Now, if that video hadn't had a fade out at the end, then I would have added a fade out as well, or I would have used a template that was fade in, fade out. Those are the first ones that are available, are fade in, fade out. But because the video that I had already had a fade out, there was no reason for me to be adding another one. I hope that covers a little bit of what Fusion has to offer there. I'm going to open it again for you all. Ooh. Sorry, we're going to go back over here because it's opening another tab for some reason. So we'll customize this again. And one thing that I also want to show you is you can add an overlay. So if you have, for example, a reel, and I know somebody mentioned it earlier, using generic things as well, this would be a great opportunity to use one of the scenes that have things like an overlay. So you can see here, you know, there's scenes in this portion that have overlays, you know, the half opacity on the black, where you can add your logo, you can add a text, and you can add more text. one thing that we really want to mention, and sorry, these are some logo transitions that you can do as well. But one thing that we really want to mention is if you have requests for designs, especially, please let us know, because those are really easy for us to do, and we can roll them out in the next little bit with the templates as well. So if you see these, we have some down below, but if you have a specific one that you want to see, maybe you want, one that's just a lower third on the left-hand side, let us know and we can do that for you. You can comment that here. You can comment that on other videos. You can send us a note. You can comment on the Facebook page. We want to hear your feedback so we can make more things for you. So this is the whole point of Fusion, is to cover the transitions that you may not see. And again, I would really encourage you to use Fusion more regularly. Again, the whole point is to fuse different videos, different rendered scenes, different rendered videos or different footage together instead of just adding them into various scenes. And again, you can mix and match footage that you have, maybe raw footage. You can mix and match with, rendered videos in Reevio. The possibilities are endless. So definitely check out this template more frequently. Again, my best encouragement is to render out individual scenes that you like from other video templates and to save them in my videos saving them using the heart icon or the favorite icon in order to be able to access them inside the editor in the media portion that you have available here on the left-hand side. So with that, if you have any more questions about Fusion, let us know. We have a lot of things going on here that can really help you out with some of these things. So keep giving us feedback. We're here to help you out as well. If anybody has any questions or anything that you want to see specifically, let us know. We, again, so far today have covered things from, the preview presets. We've covered, I'm trying to think, we've covered how the editor works. We've covered, we've covered the Fusion templates. We've covered preset and modular templates. Again, just to recap for those of you who weren't here at the beginning, modular are the flexible templates, the ones where you can rearrange scenes, you can rearrange the timeline. Preset ones are ones that are fixed, that are static. You'll see some of that language on the site, but they can't be moved. So, it's one of those things where if you need a quick fix or a quick video, that might be something you want to do. One of the case in points for this is if you go into the promo section of Reevio here, we can open that up. You'll see there are two templates here that are almost side by side. They are side by side, but they aren't on my site. We have the elegant one here. I'm going to preview that quickly so you can see. This is modular. And we have the elegant one, which is static. And again, the difference between that is the duration is set, the amount of scenes that you have are set, and this is a great one if you're looking for just something quick to show your client what you can do, or maybe you're on a quick deadline. Maybe use the static one. You have fewer options to work from, but sometimes that's better. I know sometimes I can get overwhelmed with trying to make decisions, and it's really great to be able to have something that's like, look, this is what you have to work with right now, and keep it rigid. But the one massive benefit of that is you also get transitions that are automatically put in, and you can see that even in the promos here, these transitions are already in the promo. Whereas when you're looking at the previews up here, while they're very similar, you still have to put in all of the scenes and rearrange them. As you can see, the duration here is 40 seconds with a bunch of scenes that you have available. But it is, this particular version of it is not static. And you can see that here, this information is flexible and can move around. So if anyone has any questions, please let us know. We are here to answer any that you have. Largely, that is, what I'm covering today. Again, we talked about, I'm going to cover this again, we've talked about modular and preset. We walked through what you can view in the previews again. The unit for duration is seconds. So if you see 90, that's 90 seconds. If you see 240, that is 240 seconds or 4 minutes. We walked through how the editor works and the things that are available inside of it. We've walked through logos, the importance of making sure you know what portions are transparent, the importance of exporting in full HD, and more than anything, the importance of exporting in PNG files. We've also covered Fusion, which is the fusing of multiple different videos together, and personally, I think one of the most underrated templates, because it is kind of that like final touch on all the ones that you make. But yeah, I mean, if you have any questions now, I'll be hanging out for a little bit, answering some of them. If you don't have any more, or you want to check out the live streams again, we're going to be doing them regularly every Tuesday and Thursday, 9 a.m. again on Thursdays Eastern Standard Time, or 9 p.m. on Tuesdays Eastern Standard Time. But we'll have a few special ones here and there, and most specifically, our next live stream is going to be tomorrow, Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So definitely tune in then. We're also going to be making more tutorials. That's something that I personally work on. So if you have very specific tutorials that you want to work on, you want people to work on, tell me. I am here to hear you, and I will be working on some of those tutorials as well. We're also in the process of creating, forum documents for you to reference as well. So lots of resources coming your way. Additionally, one thing that we want to do in future live streams is, work with some of the problems you have. If you have a specific problem where you want maybe somebody to review the video that you're working on, send it to us. Tag me in it. My name's Nicole Price. I would love seeing the stuff that you guys create. So if you want a review of maybe some of the work you've done, maybe we can talk about ways that it can improve and be better for your client as well. We can cover some of the things that you've been doing. We can do some case studies on other videos that are being created. So tag us in them. And then if you have problems that you don't understand or you want us to cover, tag us in those too. If you have technical problems, send a ticket. We are here to help, but make sure that all of your scenes have the purple check marks before you do that as well. So I'm going to be checking out some of your questions here. Yeah, Vanessa, thanks so much. I'm very excited to be working on some of these, and yeah, doing that too. Martin Jones, what is the best way to make sure your text fits on the template? I always type out well, actually that's not entirely true, and that's where I get hung up. I generally type out my text in a Word document first. I'll pick the scenes, and again, it really comes down to all of the pre-production. So I would encourage in your pre-production to do the following things. Check the limit on the video, pick the scenes in advance that you're interested in using, and then make note of the text lengths and positioning. Each one has a character limit, just kind of like Twitter. And so when I was working on PR stuff as a social media person, I would always type out tweets in like Google Documents or Microsoft Word. And that way I could make sure that the length of my tweets were not going to go over when they are posted. So I would encourage you to do the same thing and check the character limit. It'll make it really easy. Simon, I'm actually not sure at the moment. I think that's something that's in the pipeline, but I don't believe that it does that currently. One thing that Joel is talking about as well is Facebook covers are coming a little later after we fix a few things. Again, these Spectre bug problems are just, I don't even have words to address like how frustrating they can be. But Joel and the rest of the Reevio team are doing a fantastic job on addressing them head on and making sure that they're fixing things as fast as they can for you. So huge shout out to them. They deserve all of the support there. But in the meantime, just expect, some things to be coming down the pipeline. I know we're adjusting things like e-commerce right now and some of the language things on the site. So that'll be something that's coming. I see a lot of people asking if we can move logos and text positions. We have definitely are hearing what you have to say, and we're going to make note of that as well. Again, there's some things that we are working on in the process, and we will definitely keep note of some of the suggestions that you guys have. Is all that I showed from the basic membership? No, I do not believe it is. Because I'm doing tutorials, I'm able to access more of the page, and in hopes of being able to show you ahead of time things that are coming your way. I would really encourage checking out some of the things that are available right now. And Joel has been answering questions about memberships along the way as well. So if you have questions, you can always send a ticket as well. But more information, I'm sure, is coming out as well. Sam, thanks for the positive feedback. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow, and let me know if you have any other questions along the way. I really enjoy doing these and looking forward to it. Thanks, Doug, as well. That's really great feedback. So I'm going to keep moving on that too. Will Fusion always be under the drop-down menu? That's a good question, and I'm not entirely sure. So let me see if I can find that right now. We'll go here. We also have the ability coming soon to search and categorize things in different ways. So keep an eye open for that. We'll also do a tutorial when that is ready to release. But you'll be able to search things in a more kind of comprehensive way as well. So I think, let's see, I'm trying to think of where it might be. Here we go. So I have it here under collections on Fusion, but again, there are some things going to be changing on your side of the interface. As we can see it here, it's this is what we can see right now, but there are changes coming. As Reevio is growing and developing, there are going to be some more motion. So I don't want to say that it's always going to be here. I mean, it will be existing, but I can't guarantee that it's always going to be in the same position. So check back, and again, we're going to be doing more tutorials regularly, not just live streams. And so before things are releasing or as they're releasing, you'll be able to access the tutorials. We'll be updating docs as well, so that these things are available to you. So just keep an eye open for some of those updates. It's really cool that, every month we're getting new templates. There are updates happening regularly. And even through all of these, bug issues that have been going on with the computers, that Joel and the team have been able to really go above and beyond with some of the things that they're able to offer, in addition to dealing with the technical errors that are coming because of things that are completely, out of their control. So massive shout out to them. For everybody else who has been asking if this is recorded, yes, these Facebook Lives are recorded. We also have tutorials for shorter things that are up and more that are being created that are recorded as well. So you'll be able to reference these down the line as well. Nicholas, thank you so much for the support. Also, thank you for the feedback. I'm definitely going to try to get that monitor going as well. I'm new to the live stream game, so definitely some personal bugs that I'm looking to fix. But if you guys have suggestions for me, please, I'm all for feedback, all for criticism here as well. I want to make sure that I'm delivering you guys the best service that I can. One other thing I want to mention to you is these trainings, again, are happening regularly. Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Thursdays at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But again, the next stream is tomorrow. And I'm actually going to change my thing to show that right now. We'll send this live. So you can see the next one is tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so that we can kind of do this more together. And again, please submit your questions, submit your recommendations, submit videos that you've done. If you want feedback on a video you've done, tag me in it, and I will definitely go and do that for you. And maybe we'll cover it in one of the live streams. I mean, that would be an absolute blast. So send them our way. I'm going to log off in about 2 or 3 minutes, but I'm on Facebook all the time and can definitely answer questions throughout the day. So don't hesitate to tag me in anything. And I really hope you're having a fun time editing. I think Reevio is a fantastic site, and I'm not just saying that, you know, as the person who's doing this live stream. I'm doing it because I really believe in, you know, the work that's being done. So with that, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for giving me your time, and I hope this was helpful for you. Let me know what we can do to make it even better next time. And with that, my name's Nicole. I'm here to help you out. Let me know, and have a happy time editing. We'll see you all later.